What we heard was distressing and ludicrous. Guardian journalist Nicholas de Jong was there too, and he wrote, quote, "Customs and Excise is traditionally the most secretive of government departments. A list of publications considered either indecent or obscene has never been made available to those seeking to import books." Under questioning from Geoffrey Robertson QC, it became evident that decisions of which books to seize were taken by relatively junior and untrained staff. Customs officer Derek Riley said, "I selected a parcel because it was addressed to gaze the word bookshop, which suggested homosexual content." He's bright, this guy. Robertson asked, "Do you consider homosexuality abnormal?" As a heterosexual, yes. Riley seized and destroyed 25 copies of The Joy of Lesbian Sex, a title that had been specifically cleared by Customs for another importer. Customs officer David Odd, wonderful name, who detained the AIDS epidemic, said he was unaware that it was a serious book and could not recall examining its contents. The magistrate, Mr. C.J. Bourke, asked him, "Did you open this book at all?" Mr. Odd replied he might have failed to do so. Customs officer Clancy was asked why he'd seized Treasures on Earth by Carter Wilson when it was already published in the UK 2 years before by Hamish Hamilton. He replied, "Because it had an endorsement from Christopher Isherwood on the cover, and he's known to be a homosexual." Clancy also told the court that he received no guidance on obscenity, nor received any instruction on the matter. He said, "We were left to our own judgment." For us sitting in the public gallery, that judgment seemed arbitrary and subjective, if not to say haphazard and laden with personal prejudices. They also took The Book of the City of Ladies by Christine de Pizan. You couldn't make it up, could you? A trailblazing feminist work by the 14th century poet and writer appointed to the French court. Unbelievable. What were their dark minds imagining? They also seized The Nazi Extermination of Homosexuals by Frank Richter. It really is beyond irony for one government to confiscate as obscene evidence of another government's mass murder. And that was this point you had to work with.
April the 10th is the 40th anniversary of the raid on Gaze the Word. And when the bookshop first opened back in 1979, it said London's serious gay bookshop is now open. It was lesbian, gay and feminist from the start. And while it didn't stock photographic material that was erotic, it was about having ideas, about being that space. And we were treated as if it was just a porn shop in Soho or whatever. The community was shocked when this happened, of course, and fought back. It took 2 years, but there were questions asked in the House of Commons. There was a Defend Gaze the Word campaign. Thousands of pounds were raised to fight it. Writers like Isherwood and Gore Vidal and books on coming out to your mum, as well as books like The Joy of Lesbian Sex and The Joy of Gay Sex were seized. Look Me in the Eye, which is a book on older lesbians, was seized. Shocking, some of it. And the charges were eventually dropped. But we have such respect for the staff and directors at the time who didn't sit back, who fought this, knew that this was important, and challenged the government, and eventually won.
But this is one of the reasons why I wanted to write the book now, because this is what's happening in America and this is what's happening everywhere else. Do you know the book And Tango Makes Three? Mm-hmm. Yeah. This is a really subversive book. It's about two male penguins who bring up a chick in the Bronx Zoo, and it's a true story, and that is the second most banned book in America at the moment. It's pathetic. Oh, and there's this wonderful organisation called Moms for Liberty, which are anything but, and they protest against certain books, and they've managed to get, there was a book they were protesting against which is full of tribalism, incest, violence, cruelty, all sorts of things, and they managed to get that banned in a school. And do you know what that book was? The Bible, exactly. Yes. And Toni Morrison is banned in some places in Texas because she has the nerve to discuss slavery. I kid you not.